Eli,
What's up, man?
it's been a little while.
Has been a couple weeks.
Man, between the crud
Yep.
and then making sure we get caught up with work and back on track, and we didn't really fall off track. We got a great team around us and behind us. I don't want to go too off the rails. Like
got through, man.
But just getting our own track, just getting back on the track with ourselves and creating content and all that good stuff. But man, it feels good to be back, and
It does. Been cranking, man.
yeah, we got a good one today. I think they're all good. That's just me, right? It's failing to take action. You know how you feel, but what are you going to do about it? This is huge for me. There's a couple things going on we'll talk about, but I think people are better, or maybe they've always been good at it, knowing how they feel, having an opinion of themselves, having an opinion of current events, having an opinion of others. But what are you going to do about it? At its truest form, like physical form, you want to lose that 40 pounds.
Okay.
You know how you feel about that 40 pounds. That's why I don't take your shirt off at the pool. That's why I don't go on vacation. That's why I don't do a lot of things. But what are you going to do about it? Right?
Yeah.
Simplest form.
Yeah. The action behind
the
action.
The action plan. And this is why, like, who you're influenced by, or who you decide to listen to is so important. And like, let's just use neutrals so I don't offend anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's a well-known basketball player or football player, baseball player that's got political views, or defund the police views, or these political views, or this opinion on this view, and they're really good at, like, knowing that opinion, and they share it all over their platform, but there's never any action taken, right? Like now, like, everyone in that audience, right? Every one of those people that's influenced by that person, it's like psychologically, like, you're absorbing that content, but then that becomes a standard, right? Because then now you just go regurgitate what that person says, or you regurgitate your version of that opinion. But the standard is that, hey, we share it on social media. We bitch about it at home when we're talking to our family or our friends or at work, but then that right there, silence, nothing, nothing. Or you wear a shirt, or and I'm not saying social media is bad. I wrote a post today. I think social media is a great tool. I think it's a platform. I think you can express how you feel. I think you can share and just give your perspective and allow people to absorb your content and see things from a different lens, depending on where you see something, or maybe from your experience in something. Awesome, but it can't stop there. But I think that's becoming the standard. And
like people are confusing it for actually doing something.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
And it hits close to home, right? Marines dead in Afghanistan. 12 Marines, 1 corpsman. For those of you that don't know about corpsmen, those are Navy. They so our medical guys are supplied by the Navy, right? They're called corpsmen. You got green side, and I think they call it blue side. Green side is you're with the Marines, you go on patrol. So those corpsmen are with infantrymen on patrols, and they got guns, and they're jumping out of helicopters and planes. Whatever unit they're with, that's them. So they're in the fight, but they're also that person that's like the subject matter expert on medical, right? And just combat survival. And they still teach the Marines, in the squad that they're in, because if Doc's pinned down in a gunfight, someone else has to help. But they're the subject matter expert that's going to influence that squad or that platoon. And a corpsman passed away as well. And, like, man, it's bothersome. It's gut-wrenching. There's a lot of political things that are going on about it right now, like who, pointing fingers. And I get text messages and phone calls, and I appreciate it because I think the intention is appropriate, and but it's like, hey, man, stop talking to me about dying Marines. Marines die. That's what we do. That's how I was raised in the Marine Corps. That's my Marine Corps. When I joined the Marine Corps at the time that I did, and I heard about World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Marines in Iraq, some Marines that had already been up for the Medal of Honor, even at that point, and that was interesting, because the time that I went in, it wasn't just the history of the Marine Corps. It was like dudes that are on deployment right now, putting in work while you're in boot camp, and you're hearing those stories. And the drill instructors I had literally just gotten off of deployment or 2 deployments, and then they were put in a B billet to go be drill instructors, and I guess what better guys to learn from than
You're hearing it right from these guys that just saw
they
that.
were. Oh man, they were like a smooth whiskey,
Really?
like gasoline. Yeah, they were smooth like drinking gasoline. Yeah,
Right,
super great guys.
Yeah.
Cared a ton about us.
Kicks you in the throat.
Yeah, but man, I remember like we'd lay in our rack, man, and like before taps played at night. Taps is for the fallen, right? So like you'd be laying in your, you lay in your bunk, 2 minutes before everybody's like, you lay at attention and no one's talking, no one's moving, and they play taps. And then if we got into the rack, 5 minutes early, one of our drill instructors, super passionate guy, infantry guy, and he would come out and tell stories of like what men had done that he served with on deployment, or he would, tell some stories from old school stuff. But man, that was the message, like Marines die, and like so when people apologize or, oh, well, what's your opinion? Like, I'm reluctant because like, why do you want my opinion? Because you think I'm vetted or I've got experience. So then like my opinion carries more weight. And then you're just going to take what I say and regurgitate it to your audience. Or, man, I want to give benefit of doubt, but what does it matter? What does it matter? If it matters, if these dead Marines matter, then, and you know how you feel about it, and you feel upset, and you feel you want to reach out, hey, cool. But then, like, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to pay attention to politics more and make appropriate voting? Are you going to volunteer to veteran nonprofits or inner city nonprofits where there's some help? Are you going to financially donate and get involved? Are you going to just behave yourself and be a good leader in your community? Because I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just wondering, like, what you're going to do.
It's
man,
a real question, man. Like,
it is.
And I think people, sometimes don't know what to do, but also like sometimes like just not, asking.
Man, I had a guy on Instagram ask me because he read my post on Facebook and he hit me up on Instagram and he's like, I just don't really know where to start. And, and it's like, well, how do you want to get involved? Is it a financial thing? Is it a time and energy thing? Because both matter, man. And we talked about it, and I gave him a couple of referrals as far as like some really good nonprofits he could get involved with. And hey, cool. But like, but also here's my thing. There's a lot of politics going on right now. I get it, and that's a thing. And I can't hugely speak to that. I just don't want, or I have a little heartburn when I see a ton of like Marine Corps posts going up and the ribbon going over the Eagle Globe and Anchor and the prayers and prayers and prayers, and it's like, it's almost like it's, you ever hear a really good song and then the radio plays it 16,000 times and it's like, it's not that it's not a good song anymore, it's just watered down. I don't want it to get watered down, and I don't want it to come across like the audience that's sharing that is literally sharing it because fuck you, Biden, this blood is on your hands, and they share this thing, and it's like, it's completely taken away from the message. And let me express to you my lens of my message. Mistakes are going to happen. Politics will let you down. People will let you down. In this country, the Marine Corps is not going to let you down. We can argue about, hey, we should have not pulled out. There should have been more. I get it. And I'm not saying I disagree. What I am saying is mistakes or not, shit hit the fan. Marines go. And then Marines do their best to start becoming a value add where they can have impact in that area of operation, right? And they do. And I'm sure they were a significant help before they died. And Marines are proud. Those Marines that were deploying, that were going to go to be that value add and were that value add, were proud of what they were doing. And it doesn't go unfelt, and like, that's the message, man. And like, they died for each other. They died helping people that they don't even know, man. They just need help in that country. But like, man, that's Marines. Could it have been mitigated or this? Yeah, we could probably peel the layers back on this entire country for 300 years and ask that question. And I'm not trying to deflect. That maybe some things could have been done better, and not deflecting at all. What I'm trying to do is, like, in my opinion, bring the angle back to the point at hand. Marines are bigger than politics, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to victimize them. I'm not going to throw pity. I'm not going to use it as leverage to then angle that toward a politician. When fucking Marines know exactly what they're doing and they're fucking proud of what they do, they're going to fucking get after it. And Marines die, and stop treating that and stop coddling that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't coddle that. And definitely don't coddle it for an angle to then throw toward a politician, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it does affect you that much, and I'm giving benefit of doubt that people that are expressing that, why does it stop at expressing your opinion, liking the echo chambers, what's the term?
That's right. Your
Echo
chamber.
chambers, comments on social media, but educating yourself on politics. Paying attention to the other side, not just the side you like, but just paying attention to politics in general.
All of it.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
Voting, getting active in your community, getting active with nonprofits or with the military, and finding ways to help. And if we're all doing that, holding ourselves accountable and others accountable, believe it or not, like that immediate area of impact that you can create, it does create a ripple effect. And we can change things if we're all in that type of mindset.
And that's what's not talked about enough, is hey, you can actually, because part of it is, I'm sure, like, and that guy that asked, he was asking because I'm sure it's like, man, many people I think just want to talk and they don't actually want to do, and it's like,
well, many people talking, and gives them the feeling, the accreditation, like they've done.
Just talking about losing the 40 pounds. Let's talk about the marathon when we haven't even done it.
Yeah, a lot of people watch motivational content because they feel like they're doing something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not doing shit, and like, so in credit to Manny, right? I should have said that a second ago. Spoke to my close friend Manny Maeda, runs Bastards with Nick, and just a really good dude.
Marine. Had him on last year.
Yep, Marine infantryman, served in Afghanistan. But he's got great poise. He's just a good dude, man. He crushes business. Good buddy of ours, and I was chatting with him about that this morning. And so credit to him, because his statement was, the Marine Corps never let you down. Those guys are proud of what they're doing. And it's just important to understand that. It's important to understand that level of action that the Marine Corps goes and does, regardless. Like, everyone's pissed at politics, and we never should have been pulling out. I get it. And I'm not even saying that the Marine Corps doesn't have an opinion on that. But why everyone has the opportunity and is fortunate enough to have an opinion, hey, the Marine Corps is taking action. They're going to go over there and put themselves in harm's way, because regardless of the mistake, we got to unfuck this. And they're going, right? And then, like, so just credit to Manny for some of that perspective, and I just feel like it's appropriate to mention his name. And then, one step further is like, look, let me give you one last perspective on my point. Marines die. They're prepared, willing, they're effective. And because of that commitment, and I'm not saying other military branches don't have that commitment, I'm just speaking to my lens. So this is not to say other veterans aren't important and they aren't just as committed. I'm just speaking to what I speak to. And if they're that committed and that willing and that prepared to do that for their brother and for their countrymen, amazing. But we better make sure wherever they go to do whatever they do, we set them up for success the best we can possible, and we better make sure it's for a cause and that the timing is appropriate. Like, you have to handle that level of commitment from a Marine, from an active duty member in the military. You have to protect that and make sure, if you could have sent them sooner, send them sooner. If you could have left them there in the fucking first place, do so. Like, handle with care. Like, that level of commitment to our country should not just be thrown around, right? Because someone dying is not an adequate solution for a mistake or a mess. If a mess is preventable, we should be doing all we can as a country to make sure that if we're putting Marines wherever we're putting them, they are in the best position possible to attack what they have to attack and we know damn well they should be there. And I'm going to kind of leave it at that, but I feel like from my lens, I want to, in my own way, protect my image of the Marine Corps, my Marine Corps that I grew up in, you know, and like I just, man, like it's a slippery slope right now of all of this stuff shared online. But not every time, a lot of what I'm seeing, it's that, and I'll go onto people's Facebook like I see it in my news feed. So I go to their Facebook and I look at their other posts, and I see a lot of finger pointing of whose blood is on their hands, and like it very easily it starts becoming political, and like I don't like that. If you care about these Marines dying, please understand the perspective of whether mistakes were made politically or not. They were proud to go. They understood why they had to go, and they were there to unfuck it and be a value add and get after it. I guarantee they were proud for what they were doing. And I'm not saying that their loss goes unnoticed. Man, I'm heart-wrenched, okay? But, like, why aren't we speaking to them and their actions and their willingness, and the Marine Corps and the military's willingness to not let America down and to not let their brother down, versus only saying it just so I can tell Biden and everyone else that that blood's on their fucking hands. Like, listen to me. Fixes nothing. Right? So, man, that's where I'm at with it. And I will not victimize them. Right? Marines are not victims. They're motherfuckers, dude. They're fucking badass. And they're no better friend, no worse enemy. Period. And they're proud of what they do. And it doesn't mean that I'm not wrenched and heartbroken from what of course. I just won't slide it this way for an agenda. And it's like, man, so that's what I battle with. But then I start looking at it for today's podcast, right? Long story long here. And it's like, man, it starts with the individual, right? So let's get back to, and I'll let you you speak as well, obviously. And so then let's get back to like this whole taking action. And it's like, well, can you expect people to like take action? Like, hey, the 40 pounds you wanted to lose, the more money you wanted to make, the better father or mother you wanted to be and get more involved with your kid, the entrepreneur idea you had to venture off and do it. If you haven't created habits and taken action with yourself and learned how to lead yourself, and then you're watching a ton of like influencers or other people speak their opinion, and then it also just stays there, man, like at what point can we expect people to just make those changes? But man, like it's so cliche to say, but it's like, hey, all of this we're discussing on this podcast and current events right now, all of this starts with you. Like if you can't learn and lead yourself and take action against things that you know how you feel about them, why would you ever expect yourself to ever take action toward anything else minus run your suck on social media? And then let me leave you with this one last tidbit, because I think you had a military comment. Let me preface this. Veterans, fellow Marines, right? Like, act like you've been here before. This whole fuck you on social media. Hey, bro, get a hold of yourself. Be a leader in your community. Act like you've been here before. Create some change. Don't just go on your pout on social media. What's the example that you're setting? Just because you served does not give you a pass to now run your suck on social media and never put any action toward anything ever again. Like you don't just get to talk shit and run your mouth because you're a veteran, or because you wear a 9-line t-shirt and you want to be a veteran and everyone thinks you're a veteran, and you don't say you're not a veteran, but you don't say you are a veteran, and you're in that fucking world, right? Cool. Impartial to everybody. I just want you to take action. But veterans, this is not, you don't get to do that. You don't. If anything, you should continue to lead from the front and find ways to take action. However small, however big, find ways to influence and take action and get your shit together, because you're an example of our community. And you going off like that, you're just going to get like-minded comments of everyone that's mad. And you guys got this pool of comments on your post of a bunch of mad people that are doing zero with it.
Yeah, all just making each other more angry.
Problem. So it's like, hey, you don't get a pass. And it's not because I don't understand what you feel right now. I'm not saying that. But timing. Ways to mourn. Ways to lean on each other through conversation or in person and resources. But acting out, it's not that I don't understand where you're coming from. It's that it's limited as far as how you're expressing it on social media, as far as like what that's going to do. And then there's nothing else that comes from it. And it's like, hey, you don't get to just sit back on a rocking chair now because you're a veteran. No. If any time, especially as a veteran, if you're this upset where it's like, fuck everybody. If you've never this, I don't want to hear you. And if you've never done that, I don't want to fucking hear you. I don't like that statement. There are a lot of people that are not veterans that care about our military.
Dude.
Okay. And if it's like, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're not a veteran, you know, I can't hear your opinion or something. It's like, well, man, we're going to be hard pressed to like find a president, a vice president, and then fill an office that's a combat veteran who's also a minority and has been female before and has caught COVID, but has also been from a foreign country, but was born here, but then knows how a foreign country feels so they can speak to the border. If that's your ideology, that, hey, if you've never been a veteran, if you've never this, your opinion doesn't matter. Well, man, if we're gonna go that route, how the hell are we gonna find someone that's got firsthand experience and everything? And by the way, your veteran experience is one perspective of a veteran experience. Your combat experience is one perception of a combat experience. It's not that now because you've been a veteran, you know the military, like,
and politics.
No,
and,
man. Like, so, right. So there's other important people that need to get involved as well in perspectives, but intention matters. Yes, experience matters. Political experience matters. And maybe they should listen to people that have veteran experience, of course, but you're still going to need leaders within politics, right, that understand how to be heard and how to go through a process, because you got a bunch of Marines trying to be politicians. Good luck. Well, we might shoot a lot of shit, but it's not going to get the job done. So it's like, man, like, and I understand what you mean when you're saying it. Like, I know where that's coming from, but it's limited, right? And it's, man, we're better than that. Get your shit together and create. And you keep talking like that. Well, man, I cannot wait to see you in a fucking blue suit with a red tie and a white shirt, motherfucker.
No shit.
I'll vote for you.
No shit.
But you keep doing that. At some point, it's like, hey, man, and that's the problem, is like, you keep doing that, people won't hear you. And they might not say anything to you either, right? But they're not going to hear you anymore, because you're just like the other people that they see, where people just blah, 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 right? Talk is cheap, man. And especially I'm not saying you need to run for office. Clearly, I'm not running for office. I'm not saying that, but there's ways to get involved, and there's ways to have poise, and there's ways to just be a professional and act like you've been here before, because especially as a veteran, if people are asking your opinion or what should we do, man, it's super important, because you're now the impression that group of people are going to have about a veteran. And it's just important. So I'm not saying don't feel. I'm not saying those things, but there's just a way to react. There's a time and place to do it, and then how you express yourself publicly, right? I just think there's a responsibility to it.
Dude, well, I like your, your discussion about just starting locally, and it's like, because, man, I think part of this is like, even just you sharing this idea, I promise people haven't even taken that next step to think like, hey, I really do want change. Hey, maybe there is something that I could do.
That's why I say benefit of doubt.
Yeah, but man, just like with 40 pounds, losing 40 pounds, man, it doesn't start with losing 40 pounds. It starts with eating like one less potato chip.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, we had a guy in a mentorship group we had, and he ended up quitting. No surprise. Could have been surprised. Wasn't surprised by that individual. Had to lose 100 pounds. And, man, people were paying for his train, all kinds of stuff. And we talked about it. And it was like, hey, man, you don't have to lose 100 pounds. You got to lose 5 pounds 20 times. And, yes, as you get closer to that 100-pound goal, yeah, the way you're going to lose weight because you're getting in better shape is going to change a little bit. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, because you're going to be more experienced with your fitness. You'll be prepared for that. Last 10 pounds, last 20 pounds when you get there. But, man, we just got to lose 5 pounds 20 times. And, like, let's create a goal, man. And again, it's like, and here's my thing. If hey, benefit of doubt, you're expressing yourself, cool. But then I'm just like, man, like, if your word matters, if your impression of, because, man, like, I don't care what people think, but I care what people think, right? I don't care if you agree with me, but, man, I hope you think I'm a professional. I hope you think I stand by my word and I mean what I say. I hope that. You don't got to agree with any of it, but at least, like, I think he believes himself.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
because it's like, man, like, if you're taking enough initiative to like get on the social media, do you care about your credibility or what you're saying? And then you think that you would want to take action more. And then, and man, like, what better thing to show on social media in addition to your rants than how you're taking action? Because now you can expose how you're taking action to the public, and you can feed the public in that platform with those ideas, and then people can start taking initiative, start using some of your ideas, you know, and like, wow, how cool could that be?
Well, then I think that's one of the reasons like people do reach out to you for opinion, because you don't have the normal perspective. You know what I mean?
You
don't have like, you just have a unique perspective in the sense of like, you'll just take a step back for a moment objectively and just, man, how is this perceived from all these different angles?
I want to say yes. And maybe a couple, but there's also people that have just reached out that are just like, hey man, what's your stance on Afghanistan?
Yep.
And it's like,
yeah, they want to talk to you. They want to engage. They
dude,
they think they're sparking something in you.
No, I think they use it to then regurgitate it like it's their opinion, and because they got it from what they think is a credible source.
Yep.
You know, like they just go regurgitate. I think it's that. I think they are assuming, and I'm not calling them wrong, but I think they're assuming. Like, let's say they're really mad about Afghanistan, which they probably are because they're texting me about it, right? If you were neutral, probably not.
And honestly, I think everyone's
so when they
pissed
text
right
me, so when they text me, I think they're assuming I've got a very similar feeling than they do, and then again they're going to listen to what I have to say, and then they're just going to use that to go have discussions with people and sound versed, and it's like, I don't like the feeling of that. And again, like.
Well, dude, that's why
everyone, like, not everyone. I gotta watch these strong words, like everyone, and a lot of what I've seen is like, man, I get so discouraged when I'm watching people pray and put the ribbon around the Marine Corps stuff, and then the post right after that or right before it is pointing a finger and saying who's the blood's on. It's like you're not remembering these Marines for Marines. Take the fucking politics out of it. These dudes are proud to do what they do, and they understand what they're getting into. And we understand that Marines die, you know, and it's like, man, like we're not really supporting and acknowledging what this is and how powerful and how much love and dedication that they have. And again, I'm speaking to the military, right? I'm speaking more specifically to Marines because, hey, I was a Marine and these Marines died. So I'm speaking to that specifically, but I'm not alienating any unit or any branch of military and making them any lesser, right? So just make that clear for all the trolls. But holy shit, man, like we're not talking about how powerful and how amazing that is. You know, like another Marine Corps commander posted like how like there's this article by Vice magazine or Vice calling Marines neo-Nazis.
Yep.
And then like 2 days later, you got Marines dying and carrying babies and making change. Like, what are you talking about?
That article was yesterday's date. It was the 26th.
Yeah, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's just these agendas. And again, man, don't even get me started on like the extreme other side of this election poll, right? And like how they just say and just do that in the woke generation or whatever the fuck we're calling it. But at the same time, on the right side, if I may, for lack of a better term, I'm like, you know, like it's discouraging to watch so much support for Marines. Yeah, I can't help but feel there was an angle to it on their social media and what they want to throw it at. And it's like, fuck, man, you're missing it. Hey, regardless of what political thing is going on right now, what mistake happened and whatever, these guys are quietly just taking action and doing what they got to do and dying for it. Fuck. And yes, of course it's upsetting. Yes, if it could have been prevented and we could have said, I get it. But you're allowing that mistake. You're allowing politics to mute the mission of the fucking Marine Corps and the mission they're dedicated to and willing to do. Right? Because again, talk is cheap, man. Like, and we're missing that, you know, like, because we're too busy throwing shade. And that's where, man, that's what jazzes me up a little bit. And like, no, I don't lose my shit. Right? Like, we come on a podcast, we have a discussion, we give back, and we support veterans and things that we've done this year that we're proud of. And you don't need the laundry list because it's not about trying to sit here and impress you guys. It's more to impress upon the point of like why this is important, and just people are just
and I think overall too, like this thing is so impactful because like right now, dude, no one trusts anybody, right? From all sides. No one is trusting anybody.
Just the Marine
However,
Corps. Sorry,
dude, that's across the board, man. That's across the board. And it's one thing to where it's like, regardless what side you're on, somebody knows somebody in the military or somebody has family in the military. And it's like, especially with the Marines coming from a civilian outside perspective, where it's like, man, where no one can trust anybody, I feel like everyone collectively, minus, Vice, is like, hey, these guys, they got our back. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and I hope it creates change, but I promise you this, from a Marine's perspective, it's not just getting after it and voting and paying attention and creating the change there. Like, is that needed? Yep. It's from everyone. But, hey, man, those Marines want you to be a better dad.
Yeah.
They want you to be a better mom. They want you to be a better person to yourself, right? Like, taking action and creating influence and just doing those right things, like, it starts with you. And, like, I think that's, so after some thought, and some discussion with a close buddy of mine, it was just like, like, the bottom line is it starts with you. And it's the pattern that I'm looking at. And as emotional as these politics and current events can be, it's not different. It's like, why would we expect people to take action? Like, they don't even take action with themselves. And I'm not talking shit, but just to talk shit for the sake of talking shit. Get your shit together, man. Like, lose that 40 pounds.
Yep.
Take your fucking kids out more.
Mm-hmm.
Get that promotion at work. Be more self-accountable and understanding of mistakes you made, and be a better team player for whatever team you're a part of at work or with whatever you do. Like, just be the best version of yourself that you can be, and be a value add to others. And when you create those habits, you'll start understanding how to go take action elsewhere. And you'll also understand that how taking action with yourself, how powerful it can be for others. You being the best version of yourself and then walking into a team at work or as a father or a mother, like, no, it creates change in that environment. That environment's now changed, and it's better.
100%.
And it's also, not only is it changing, is it better, it's contagious.
Yep.
And if you start understanding all that, now you will understand why your accurate, educated vote matters, why your contribution financially to a nonprofit for inner city kiddos or refugees that are coming to this country or veterans matter. Mm-hmm. Your involvement with nonprofits, if that's your decision that you want to make, matters. And you'll know how much it matters if you can start making that change with yourself and then paying attention to the environments that you're in and watching some of that evolve. And it just starts there. But man, like, we see it in these non-critical circumstances. The 40 pounds, not critical, right? Like, dad bod. Oh, I'll just get a dad bod shirt. Okay, right? Like, it's like, if you don't take it serious there, like, why the hell would you take it serious somewhere else? Because, dude, paying attention to politics or contributing to nonprofits or whatever you can do to go in and volunteering at your kiddo's school, all these ideas I got for you, even if you believe me, like, it creates influence, it creates change, and just requires energy.
It does.
And if you don't got the energy to take care of yourself or whatnot, like, why would you ever have the energy to go do something else? Or if you do have the energy to go do something else, realize you have to set the example in every way. So you should still be the best version of yourself as you go into those networks to go influence. So lose the 40 pounds. Be more positive. Be more understanding and open-minded to people's lens of you that are close to you that might have an opinion of you. All good things, but that's what I see, man. That's how I feel about it. It's not that I'm not heartbroken or, and I'll be honest with you, how I feel about my Marine Corps or with what's going on, or how I feel about those Marines that passed away. Like, hey, if that's for me, that's for me, and if you see me on our YouTube channel having fun and creating content, man, I got kids to raise, I got a business to run, I got people relying on me, right? Like, we don't stop.
And I imagine that's what any Marine would want you to keep doing, right?
They'd call me a fucking pussy if I did. Well, you fucking bitch, the fuck, right? Like, they would haunt me forever, right? Like, that's the Marine Corps, right? Tough loving. But no, man, like, I just want to bring some attention back to truly what those guys did and why they did and how they did, and it not just be overlooked, but we take the superficial side of it so we can slap fucking Biden with it. And it's like, man, like, I want to say that that's coming from a good place, But the reality is some of it's coming from finger pointing, and since prior to the election and through the election and even now, it's like everyone just wants to point the finger and score the point.
Like they were just waiting for him to do a big enough fuck up to, hey, I told you.
Yeah, and look, I'm not saying he didn't fuck up.
Yeah, right.
However, hey man, the circumstance and what these guys did, it's bigger than just using it to slap Biden.
It's not your opportunity
to
say I told you so.
No, it's not. It's bigger than that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, fine, slap it on your social media, but then you gotta go get involved. Because it's bigger than just scoring a point, right? Like it's bigger than that. So not really sure how to close that out. I think I've expressed how I want to feel. I didn't want this one to take too long. I didn't want to go too crazy with it. I want to be straight to the point and just give some accurate.
Well, some things I want to take away from it, man. And just some things I learned from you in general and just observations, is, man, your word matters. No matter how small you may think you are, your word matters. So you have to put weight behind your words and put thought behind the words and content that you're putting out into the universe. And then on top of that, the little things matter all across the board. Yeah. No action too small in a hometown can have this ripple effect, of God knows what, right? You're volunteering at your kid's school. You impact one other kid there that doesn't have a dad,
And just because you're not a teacher doesn't mean you don't have an opinion of how the school can go.
Right.
Just because you're not a veteran or a combat veteran doesn't mean other people involved in this don't matter. Okay, like, I mean,
well, and bottom line, the way the world works, man, you've got to integrate.
You being a veteran does not make you like a major in economics or foreign relations. Okay, it just doesn't. It makes you a subject matter expert on your role and what you did, and that's what you can speak to. There's other important roles from that bird's eye view that matter. It's their intent that matters. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but we can't throw these blanket statements that because someone's not a veteran or involved in the war that I'm not listening to you. Why? What if they care? What if they're open-minded? What if they're absorbing what we've gone through so then at their level they can go implement the right decisions? Like, yes, there are good people that are non-veterans, that are non-military generals that have great contributions. And, man, I've learned that from just being in the civilian sector and working with you and working with a lot of civilian business partners that we have. Dude, there's a lot of value out there. So I think it's more about, look, man, veteran or not, your intentions and your integrity when you're selected or when you're putting the effort into going and being in office has to be right. It can't be about you. It can't be about a title or how much you're making. It can't be for power. Like, it's got to be for the betterment of this country, whether it's city or state or nationwide, right? Like, I think it's that. And again, like, I'm not trying to bash anybody. I've seen that said by several veterans across Facebook these past couple of days, and it's like, man, like, I want you to slow down, okay? Because you're not just gonna have a bunch of veterans in every little hole in politics from nation all the way to, it's just not. There's just not enough. There's not enough guys that want to do it, but we need other perspectives and lenses, right? We need other brains that work that way that can contribute, and that's what makes America great, right? Super important. So, but hey, I guess if we're to end this anyway on how we can end it, it's, guys, it starts with you. How can you do something for hey, it's Friday, right? Like, how can you do something for yourself? Go for a walk, go for a jog, get a workout in, get your water in, decide to put that fried chicken down and eat something healthy. Take your kids for a walk if you're going to go for a walk versus them just doing nothing with you, or I don't know, man. Like, just it's
small things.
I know I'm using a lot of physical things, and it's not because I'm just some meathead that likes working out. It's because physical exertion is just a great vehicle to feel and see change, right? So, like, yeah, and it's just fucking good for you, but it starts with you, So even if you got some different opinions than me, you're not quite okay. Cool, man. That's all good. But start some things with you and just see how you can affect yourself, and then see where it also starts to bleed into your family or your coworkers.
The habit of taking action, not to draw this on too long, but this has been super intentional and top of mind with me this entire week, of just feeling the need to improve my habit of see something needs to be done and taking action on it. And the little trigger that I've kind of instilled for myself is, hey, when you're walking around at home, wherever, you look down, you see that little piece of trash, little piece of paper that doesn't belong on the floor.
Yep.
How easy that is to walk by, and it's like, man, that's a habit. You literally made a habit of seeing something need to get done and ignoring it intending on someone else to do it. So all week long, man, I've been walking out of the gym today. I heard a sound. What does that sound? I look. It's a plastic cup blowing on the ground. And I'm like, oh, fuck. This is fantastic. Here it is. God damn it. Pick it up, throw it away, because it's that habit. And fuck the cup. It's the habit.
It's the habit. I have a habit of, like, if I can do it and it takes me less than 2 minutes, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then it also keeps me distracted from just doing a bunch of just other stuff, and I don't stay in line with, like, what I'm trying to do that day or with work, right? Like, you and I have a ton of little things that we could do with our business, but it could also be extremely distracting and not productive and take us away from the intention and the direction that we're taking, right? So, and then if it would take longer than that, but it still needs to get done, I write it down, we schedule it, and it gets done.
Those little things, man.
But those little habits of I think those little habits are great because it helps just massage your mind into different habits, and it just puts you into a different type of like mindset.
It's shadow boxing. You know, it's understanding how to flex your bicep without a weight in your hand. I'm
a badass when I shadow box, bro. I don't know if I could like fight anybody. Don't go trying to fight me. I'm old, man. I'm a nice guy. I'm a teddy bear.
Right.
But if you see me shadow boxing, don't come up and knock me out. Just let me have that little moment at the stoplight, would you?
Man. Yeah.
Otherwise, hey, happy Friday. Enjoy your families, enjoy your friends, enjoy yourselves, and man, it's great weather. Get outside and just do something fun.
Yeah.
You know, just get outside, do something different, or exert some energy and give some things some perspective, and just start to give some food for thought of like how you can make change. And I promise you, making change isn't going and just expressing how you think. Just go be a positive value add, positive interaction for someone. You know, I think it's more powerful than you might think. So you know what? Give us benefit of doubt, like we give you, and give it a try, and let us know how it works for you.
Appreciate you guys listening.
Right on.
We'll see you next week.
Out.
Day $1
I already said it.
Out.
Outer.
Dropping bombs out the gate, bringing big guns. Raw records, we the stake, we the A1. Speak up and we know where we came from. Welcome to the posse, let me hear you yell long cut. A little whiskey on the tongue and some long cut. I'ma slip it on down and turn it up. Southbound and we're trailblazing, yeah, but and the posse dirty, filthy like a spit cut. Dropping bombs at the gate.